when we're partway through the show. So, hey, Fish, guess what? We are live right now. We're live with our March Madness picks. Ignore Fishes in mind, but pay attention to Hardlines. We will gab with one of hockey's greatest goalies, Grant Fuhr. We give you our takes on baseball's return, and we wonder where the smart golfers have gone. Heidi's Hollywood asks why actors compare themselves to athletes. Schmuck of the week can't deal with it, and who's got the swag as a woman who's not in heaven yet, but she has just punched her ticket there already. And there is something fishy about our TV networks. Fish pontificates. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Daly Fish. John Daly here with Eric Snyder, a.k.a. Fish. We are coast to coast coming to you from Las Vegas. Fish is in Las Vegas. And Myrtle Beach. I am in Myrtle Beach. We talk sports, entertainment, and everything in between. We got another great show. We got a packed show tonight, Fish.
Yeah, I have two heroes in my life. Kenny Stabler. I got drunk with him at Mom's Saloon in 1986. And we got this man, Grant Fuhr, on. He's a pioneer, just a great goalie. And of course, he did it in an era where hockey was probably the most popular in the 70s in the United States, I think.
Yeah, and he was the most acrobatic, most fun goalie to watch when you were watching a game. I mean, he was great. And he had to compete against Gretzky, who was on the same team as far as getting the attention. But
do you think that made him better? Do you think that he had to practice against Gretzky, so he's got the best player of all time throwing pucks in his way? I bet you if we ask him that, he'll have a good answer for that.
Yeah. Well, think about great quarterbacks who have great defenses. You know, they got to practice against a great defense all the time. So absolutely. Hey, folks, questions or comments, drop it in the chat box or email us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. It's time now for the Daily Grind. Opening day for baseball is April 7th. Spring training and free agency are scrambling thanks to the useless work stoppage and labor war. Fish, so who won the labor war between the players and the owners?
The players did. Because they got the owners not to give them a salary cap, which I thought was atrocious. Okay. And the only thing I really looked at in the whole thing, of course, the NL now is getting the DH, which I think is great. That's going to elongate some players' careers, John. I wanted a pitch clock drastically. Okay. I go to minor league games here in Las Vegas for the Aviators, and there's a 20 to 25 second pitch clock, and the owners won that battle. And according to Tim Kirchin at ESPN, it got tabled for at least a year. He doesn't think it's going to come into fruition until 2025. The average game is 3 hours and 10 minutes. All right. It's because guys like Kenley Jansen, Max Scherzer, 48 seconds between pitches. That's my sex life between each pitch. It's crazy.
Wow. You're that good, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm that fast. We're slow.
Well, I'm gonna tell you who lost in that whole thing. It's the fans. And it's exactly what you said, because they did not clear up the issue of the pitch clock, which to me makes games unwatchable for so many people today, so many fans, and they haven't created parity in the league, as only a few teams are actually going to vie for the playoffs and the World Series. All right, next. Brady unretires. Joe Buck leaves Fox for ESPN and thus leaving baseball for football. The Lakers could miss the postseason. In the NHL, the Avalanche may get the Blackhawks superstar Patrick Kane. Oh, and there's this thing called March Madness kicking off tonight with play-in games. I miss anything, Fish?
I mean, it's crazy right now. We're at a time right now. No, I don't think you did, but it's great that we have two hot stove leads going right now. Right now, as we speak, NFL free agents are signing, and baseball players are scrambling to get on teams, get the spring training, and get the season started by April 7th. So I'm on Twitter constantly saying, oh, wow, the Raiders' Brandon Faison, he just signed with the Colts. And a lot of little minor things happened today. But it's great just if you're into that kind of, language of scores, boom. So we didn't really miss anything. I thought it was great that Tom Brady had to take the kids to school for 3.5, 4 weeks and said, the hell with this. I'm going back to football.
Absolutely. Well, we will definitely talk about that over the next few weeks as well. All right, finally on the grind, golf needs Chichi Rodriguez. Did you watch the Players' Championship on Saturday? Howling winds turned the famed 17th Island Green into a dunking contest. 19 golfers missed the green with winds howling up to 40 miles an hour. And again, this is only a 120-yard shot. Sure, it was definitely tough conditions. I'll agree with that. But it was apparent to me that there was only a few of the world's best golfers who have any idea how to hit a low-flight shot where the wind is not as strong. The man who could always do that was Chichi Rodriguez. We need him. We've lost that in today's golf game as players only try to blast it as far as they can. And Fish, the same as in baseball. Baseball doesn't want defensive shifts anymore so they can get more base hits. Hey, Major League Baseball players, here's what you do. Lay down some bunts or hit the ball the other way against the shift to stop the shift. I got to tell you, Fish, I'm sounding like you now.
I wish I looked like you, but I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss the sound of Joe Buck doing World Series games. Because was there any better World Series call than his classic dad with this call?
On early.
An audience to this.
And a runner at third, nobody out in the first and didn't score. Second and third, one out in the second and didn't score. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game.
Go crazy. Absolutely. That was great. A little bit of a hometown call because he was the announcer for the Cardinals, but not a nicer guy than Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith, one of the great guys in the business, played a couple of celebrity golf events with him. I love him. So that was a great moment. And it's a great moment in broadcasting and sports broadcasting as well.
Well, and he's one of these guys that had probably 2 home runs in his career. And like you suffered through Bucky Dent in 1978 with 1 home run to win a playoff series. This guy hits a home run in the 85 series, propels them to the World Series against the Kansas City Royals. I love moments like that in sports. And losing Joe Buck doing the World Series, I think, is having Kevin Burkhardt do it. God bless him. But Joe Buck, good luck at ESPN.
Yep. Then they move on. All right. And that is the Daily Grind. For lots of breaking sports news, make sure during the week to go to our Facebook page, which is daily.fish.5. We've got a lot there. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Daily Fish is live on Facebook at daily.fish.5 on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Watch us on Facebook at Myrtle Beach Golf Channel and also Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. Check out Daily Fish on YouTube, plus DB&A Television has us on Roku and Amazon Fire, and we are also on Spotify. All right, it's time now for the Daily Fish Hardlines. John Hardison has the podcast, The Cost of Winning, focusing on fantasy sports and sports betting. Hardline, welcome back, buddy. Let's jump in right away to March Madness, which is just starting pretty soon with some play-in games. Give us your top prop bets for the tournament right now.
It feels like Christmas just came so early for me. There's so many good props in this. I like the one biggest prop is Kansas University is plus 210 to make the Final Four. Looking at the way the bracket is set up right now, they've got the easiest walk into the Final Four in the Midwest. They're in the same conference as Creighton, Providence, Wisconsin, and Miami. And Miami is definitely a team to watch out for, but I think they have the easiest walk to make the Final Four this year.
Cool. Okay. Give me some future bets.
You know what? I like Tennessee plus 500 as well to make the Final Four. That's what I really like. Also, in terms of props, I really like this prop of Matthew Mayer, who plays center for Baylor University, over 5.5 rebounds at plus 110. I think that's a great prop to bet. Also, I really like Tiger Campbell, over 11.5 points. I know he struggled a little bit at UCLA with everything happening in the tournament, but I think that's an easy layup to just kind of get some money off of him, especially with who they're playing in the first round. I think it's something definitely you should take a look at.
Cool. I love it. Let's hit the upset specials. Hardline, you go first, and Fish and I will jump in.
So I'll start off. I like Memphis over Boise State. Memphis is a 9 seed. Boise State's an 8. Memphis is actually favored 2.5, but I think that they're the better overall team. They've won over 10 games in their last stretch. I think it's a team to really watch out for. I know at the beginning of the season, I've been telling people this since I've been on here. They went through a losing streak, but they had a lot of injuries, a lot of young guys, a lot of freshmen, and now they're starting to hit their stride.
That's really good. I got to tell you, I cannot really name. Last year we kind of figured Baylor or Gonzaga were going to be. You just don't have anybody. The number 1 seeds, they're good number 1 seeds, but I think a 7 or an 8 seed could be in the Final Four or could win the national championship real easily. So let me go my upsets. I got Ohio State, 11 seed over LSU. I got Michigan over Colorado State, and then I have, this is a good one here, Vermont over Arkansas. How about those? Fish, go ahead and pick yours.
So,
you mean Iowa State over LSU? Is it?
What did I say? Didn't I say Iowa State?
I thought you said Ohio State. That's okay.
Ohio State.
I don't want to
Ohio
say my wife's in the background going Iowa State because she's Ohio State.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I didn't mean to dog you on that. I have one. I think the Miami Hurricanes are going to beat USC because they're the top perimeter scoring team in this tournament. John Daly. They throw up threes like Freddie Downtown Brown did in the 1979 Sonics versus whoever they beat, whoever the Sonics beat in the championship in '79 when it was tape delayed. This is a 3-point team that plays perimeter ball.
I have Miami going deep actually in there. I have them getting to the point of the Elite Eight where they play Kansas in a bracket I was looking at. I just think that they're very good. I think that they get overlooked because they play in the ACC with UNC and Duke. Another team, it's actually a pick, and this is one that I think is really interesting. I've been watching them. Loyola Chicago, I think they're going to beat Ohio State. It's a toss-up right now. It's a pick at the books. I think they're good enough. They've made a lot of strides the last few years. They haven't got knocked out in the first round. I think that's one team. And also, I really like Virginia Tech over Texas. I think that's an upset that we're going to look at 11 versus 6. Look what they did in the tournament, in their conference tournament. I think they're a really good team. They really surprised me at how well they played. I think those are two teams to really look at as well as Memphis.
Yeah. How about them Horns?
Hook 'em. Hook 'em.
At one point, it's either
I'm
way.
going to pick my final four. Oh, by the way, John Daly and John Hardison, is Loyola Chicago the one with the 118-year-old lady that sits courtside?
The nun. Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes.
She's great. You got to root for them because she's got to be she's over 100. I know that. So I don't know her name, but I just that rings a bell with Loyola Chicago and her. That's a terrific story. I hate agreeing with good-looking John Daly during the football season. I have the same Final Four that he does. I'm not changing. Okay.
Are you kidding?
I have Duke. I absolutely do. I did it in my ESPN brackets. I have Duke, UCLA, Kansas, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to. Isn't that great? Isn't it great that stupid minds think alike? Don't go with us. Yeah. I have the same ones as he does.
Oh my
there you go. What do you got? The same.
Who do you have, Hardline?
He's got Duke, Kansas. Oh my God.
Who do you have?
Well,
I got Duke, UCLA, Tennessee, and Kansas in the Final Four.
Oh my God, we all picked the same things. That is unbelievable. Who
do you have winning? Yeah.
Well, okay.
I think it's
Daly, you go first on who you have winning, then Hardline to me. Daly, you go first.
Okay. So I have Tennessee beating UCLA in the finals. So I have Rick Barnes finally winning a national championship. Go ahead, you guys.
Hardline.
I hate to say this, guys. It looks like a repeat of 91. I got Duke, Kansas. I got Duke winning, and I hate Duke.
Well, you're thinking that Krzyzewski's going to go out big because his games that were supposed to be his swan songs, he's lost every one of them so far.
The hardest part is Duke has the most difficult bracket until they get to either UConn or Gonzaga. And I think with the pace and tempo and the amount of coaching that Krzyzewski has, I think it gets them over the Zags. I think if they play UCLA, I think they're a much better team overall, especially in the paint than UCLA is. And I think that's what takes them over the edge into the championship. Kansas is just so finicky. I love watching Kansas University. It's just you don't know which Kansas you're going to get. There are some nights where Kansas is great, and there's some nights where you're like, how did you blow this game?
So go ahead and Fish, tell us who do you have finishing up?
I have Kansas because Kansas plays basketball like Grant Fuhr played hockey. If you get in the crease, they're going to block your shit right out of the way. All right. Mm-hmm. They lead the NCAA in blocks. So you can't go in the paint. You can't go in the crease. It's like it's like a breakaway for Grant Fuhr. They're going to stop you. So I got Kansas.
Okay. All right. That's great. All right. And that is a Daily Fish Hardline with John Hardison of the Cost of Winning podcast. You can find him here with us, but also on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Hardline, stick around. I know you're going to join us as we gab with Hall of Fame hockey goalie Grant Fuhr. So stay in the queue there, and we'll be right back to you.
Absolutely. It's going to be a pleasure.
Super. Hey, folks, right now is the ideal time for that golf weekend in Myrtle Beach. The Myrtle Beach Golf Trail has dozens of courses along the Carolina coast in both North and South Carolina. Conditions are fabulous. I know I'm living it every day down here. What's the easiest way to do it? Set up an entire trip for yourself, your family, or a bunch of friends by going to the Myrtle Beach Golf Trip. Just Myrtle Beach Golf Trail, and it is myrtlebeachgolftrail.com. There you have it. And I would say, if there's any one course, because I know, Fish, you were asking me before, any one course that you think that you would recommend that I would recommend for you to go to, I would go to River's Edge. I'd play the famous 9th hole called Arnie's Revenge. Plus, the chef at River's Edge cooked for President George W. Bush. Again, myrtlebeachgolftrail.com. There you have it. All right. Time
John,
now.
I missed my line. Is there any course you would recommend?
Oh, it's funny you should ask. I was just thinking that. Yes. Yeah. River's Edge. Sorry. Arnie's Revenge. There you go. In Charlotte, North Carolina. All right. Now it's time for something fishy. Fish, what do we have? Uh-oh. Glass is coming off now.
You know what we do? We did a thing called Binge Watch, which we handed over to our great Heidi's Hollywood. She's great at giving us shows that we should watch. I'm done with network TV. I can't watch it anymore. There's a show my wife likes to watch called A Million Little Things, which is on ABC, and it's terrific. It's about 3 guys that meet another guy in an elevator. They're all Bruins fans. One guy commits suicide. It's how their lives occur afterwards. Yep. 2 characters, one's like me, and the other one's like me. And I'm watching the show the other night because I stopped watching it because the dialogue is so atrocious. And they're in a situation where you would have said, oh, shit, and it's oh, darn. I think network TV has to take the gloves off. I really do, John. You see on AMC, USA, they're allowed. The S word's allowed. Yeah. Even on AMC, the F word's allowed on a show called Snowfall, which I really love, which is about crack cocaine that started in 1983. When did you think, John? I'll make this a short, fishy. When do you think the network TV is finally going to say, you know what? Let's talk like real people talk, because you look disingenuous when a guy stubs his toe and he goes, oh, darn. You know, people don't say that act like me. They're going to say, oh, S-H-I-T. Oh, shit. So you think it's ever going to happen in our lifetime when you're seeing more platforms taking the constraints off?
I don't. And I don't because I think the FCC is going to make sure that regular network over-the-air free television is going to be that way so everybody can watch it, so your kids can watch it. But I agree with you. I know there were a couple of shows that I watched that got canceled from network television and went over to streaming, and they could do their dialogue. They could actually say all the other things. I'm like, wow, this actually makes a lot of sense now. So I get what you're saying. I just don't think it's going to happen. And I just think more people are probably going to be going to streaming as they do that. And it may be more for family type TV. So that's kind of the way I'm seeing it right now. I think it's just going to be that way. So. All right. Guess what? It is now time for Heidi's Hollywood. She is Heidi Holliker, actor and producer who is deep in the entertainment scene with us every week. Heidi, welcome back. Is she there? There she is.
Hey guys, I'm right here. I got another rental phone call, so.
Uh-oh. Yeah. All right. Well, good.
All good. Okay.
Well, I'm sure it was a great source. So tell us first. We'll get some things to hit with you. What are you binging this week?
All right. I am binging The Secrets of Playboy. And really, seriously, Secrets of Playboy, 10-part docuseries. It's on A&E, and I've seen almost all of them. I think there's one more that I haven't seen. Back in the day, I used to be with the Playboy model agency as an actress. I used to go to the mansion. I never saw any of the stuff that went down, ever. Thank goodness, ever. So it is honest. It's frightening. It's frightening, the things that happened there, and I highly recommend it. I mean, I can't actually.
I'm in episode number 6, so just don't hold that against me. I have been to the Playboy Mansion. That's one of the perks of working in nightclubs in LA before I moved to Las Vegas. And I saw a lot of things that went on there, and a lot of actors and actresses, but it was a lot of fun. I saw Hefner all the time with that long cigarette and that robe. He was the greatest host. I never had a lady on his hand, but he never partaked in the crap that went on that I don't really want to talk about. You'll see it in the show.
Right. I mean, he certainly did, according to everybody who's been interviewed, the chauffeurs, the executive assistants, the playmates. When I went there, I was 19 years old. No one hit on me. No one bothered me. I God, this great dinner on Sunday nights with a movie.
Bullshit.
Went
I
home.
call bullshit.
But no, it's true. I was the only
There's
virgin
no way
that
no
ever
one
walked.
hit on you.
No,
Look at
no
you.
one hit on me.
I knew you when you were 19. Oh, come on. Don't, you know what? You can say that. Look, this is not network TV.
Don't lie on our show.
I promise you, I would tell you if I had that story. I didn't go in the grotto. I never went upstairs. But I tell you,
believe it, Grant Fuhr.
Come on,
he was
Grant.
in the Forum Club with Gretzky.
Never. In fact, here was the rule. I could go every Sunday night as long as I could bring one guest. It had to be a female, and it had to be a beautiful female. Those were the rules. And I felt that was kind of crappy, but at the same time, I was waiting tables, free dinner and a movie, went home alone every time. So
who did you bring? Who was the beautiful friend you brought?
Oh, I was working as a waitress. I'd bring the chef, who maybe wasn't as beautiful, just to kind of, piss him off a little bit. But the parties were momentous. The Midsummer Night's parties, everything good I saw nothing bad. So watch this show. It's really worth seeing. Cool. And it's a little, it makes you definitely feel like you need a shower. So, anyway, so that's one. And then HBO Max, the Oscar nominated The Eyes of Tammy Faye. That is incredible. If you haven't seen it, Jessica Chastain. And she's nominated for Best Actress, and her makeup and hair team is also nominated. And this takes us back to what we talked about before, the 8 categories that the Oscars are, not having live on the broadcast. One of them is makeup and hair. And the collaboration of the performer and the makeup and hair is so critical. And to this film, you couldn't have one without the other, basically. Andrew Garfield's in it, Vincent D'Onofrio's in it. It's a great cast. It really, really shows you the behind the scenes of what Tammy Faye Baker was going through, and it's beautifully portrayed. So I hope she wins. I hope she wins the Oscar.
Rodney Dangerfield had a great joke about Tammy Faye Baker. I'm gonna try and do it. I try to hit on Tammy Faye Baker over the Improv, but her eyelashes are so long I thought spiders are mating in them. She has the biggest, longest eyelashes on the planet.
When you watch
Andrew Garfield, great.
Yep.
Great. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
And Grant, if Grant's listening to Q, he could listen in this one because it aggravates me. Being around a lot of actors and actresses, we've heard them, and you've acted your entire life. You've been in major motion pictures. I can't stand it when I hear actors and actresses compare themselves to athletes. I don't know why. Unless you're in the theater, I want your take on this. I want to get my take, and John think feels the same way, Heidi. Unless you're doing theater where it's live, okay, it's real simple to do a film and they say cut, okay. If Grant lets a goal in on a breakaway, he can't say cut. Can we do this over again? I didn't like my angle on that shot.
That's a valid point. But let me tell you what I think about that. And I've never had this experience myself, but you've got, when you look at Tom Hanks in Castaway, Hilary Swank in $1 Million Baby, Natalie Portman in Black Swan, originally early on De Niro in Raging Bull, they had to be so disciplined. And I mean, you can Jared Leto in Dallas Buyers Club, so disciplined to change their body, and this having nothing to do with the hair and the makeup, because they went through physical transformation, 6 months sometimes of training. I think, didn't Jake Gyllenhaal play a boxer as well? And you have to, I mean, again, I've never had that experience, but their schedule 6-7 days a week, and no one's exactly feeling sorry for these amazing performers, because that's their job. But they change their body, they change their food, they change everything. They are working out 6 hours a day, 4 to 6 hours a day to be that. And so when you see the film, whatever that film is, you're seeing the end result, but you're not seeing them, like athletes, exactly, getting up at 4 a.m., doing the workout. So that's I think where the comparison is. John, what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. You know, when I look at
Great take.
yeah, I look at some of the actors and what they've had. I mean, I look at Bryan Cranston. You know,
Yep.
we've had
Yep.
Cranston on the show, and you see what he did to be Walter White. You know,
Yes.
after playing some goofy roles, and
Yep.
so yeah, so it is, and I agree with you. I can see that there because a lot of them really they just live being that character, and then they got to try to turn it off to go home. So yeah, I agree with
Right.
you on that. But I see
And
what Fish is saying also.
I see what both are saying, but it's I mean it's exciting. I'm sure if you're given that opportunity and you have this role and you have 4 to 5 months to change completely become that role, and then you add hair and makeup and everything that goes into that. Vice, the character Dick Cheney character, that was a transformation. You see Gary Oldman constantly doing that kind of transformations. It's just it's a privilege to be able to get those films and to be those brilliant performers. But it's a lot of work, like anything. Yeah,
I agree. All righty. Super. Great discussion. All right.
yeah.
And that
Great
is
talk.
Heidi Hollywood. She is with us every week. You can check her out on Facebook and Instagram. Heidi, get yourself ready because we got Oscars coming up. So we're going to be hitting that
I'm
next month.
so excited. March 27th. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And next week
Absolutely.
I'll give you a little tidbit of another film that's up.
Very good. Super. All right.
Okay.
Heidi's Hollywood, everybody. Check her out on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. All right. Still ahead, our Schmuck of the Week, along with Who's Got the Swag and our Drink of the Week, sponsored by Shucks Tavern in Las Vegas. Plus, we have Hall of Fame hockey goalie Grant Fuhr. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Again, Daly Fish is live on Facebook at daily.fish.5 on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Watch us on Facebook at the Myrtle Beach Golf Channel, also Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. Check us out on YouTube, plus DBNA Television on Roku, Amazon Fire, and we're also on Spotify. All right, now it is time for our Schmuck of the Week. Who's been schmucky this week, Fish?
I got a bunch of schmucks this week. I mean, sometimes you don't have a real schmuck. Sometimes people just do good things. So I find some memes to go through this. And, I'm going to go through some pictures here, and I want your reaction. I want Grant Fuhr's reaction, John Hardison's reaction, if I can see him in the queue, and yours, John Daly, okay? This is Eli Manning. Look at the expression on his face. Do you remember when his brother was implicated when he was in college as being one of the guys in a fraternity that was involved in teabagging women? If you don't know what that is, look it up. I don't want to get too gross here, but it's basically exposing your genitals on a woman's nose. That's Eli's look when he found out. Okay, so at least he was a little bit perturbed. I think next time if in 2024 when these two idiots go up against each other, let's do this. That's how you're going to have to decide who wins the election, right there. All right. Look at Uncle Trumpy and Joe. That's great. All right, baseball season, Grant, John Hardison, John Daly. Look at the Yankees, how they're celebrating the collective bargaining agreement being ratified. Look at the New York Yankees. Wow. All right. Guys, I had a tough time getting women in high school because I'm an idiot. I was a geek kind of, just a smart guy, athlete, but, so this is what my high school girlfriend's doing now. So, look, it is what it is. Okay, this one's called Aaron Rodgers is nuts on the meme. This is the same reaction to seeing maybe Peyton Manning's balls on a woman's nose. All right, and just to end this whole thing, I have the privilege, guys and gals, of working with the great John Daly. Not this one on the golf course. Look at that. Wow. Not that. I guarantee you, when it says you work with John Daly, he's the host, I said, not this guy, that guy right there. And that's our schmucky guy.
Yeah. Everybody says my first name should be No Not That. So there we have it. All right. Okay. So that's Schmuck of the Week. All right. Let's see who's got the swag this week. Who we toasting, Fish?
I think every week we find someone, John, and it just blows away who we had the week before. And in episode 47, this is tear-jerking. Sometimes you just can't be funny. There's chaos going on in the world, and this is true. This lady carried this dog, and we're animal lovers, carried that dog 10 miles. Yeah. Look at the animal's injured from a mortar fire. You can see the little blood, and I get choked up on this. But she carried that dog 10 miles to the Polish border, and thank God there was a hospital in Poland that took care of the dog, and the dog is fine. We love our animals. You love Nike. I love Molly. Look, I can't see Molly, but you will in a second. But to that woman, I can't get a name on her. I tried and did some research. but she's got the swag, and you know what, Pooch, hang in there.
Now, I think she was a 71-year-old woman, wasn't she?
71. There's my dog on the couch. Can you see? Like
there, Molly.
There's
Molly.
Dog.
Yeah. Can you imagine having to carry Molly that far? I
would.
carry Nike.
I would. You carry Molly that far.
And that is our Who's Got Swag. All right, let's go now to our toast of the week, and who we're toasting her, and then also what are we toasting with? What are we sipping there, Fish?
This is a shanty. It's a ginger beer and beer. I mean, we're toasting March Madness. We're toasting Grant Fuhr, one of the greatest goalie I've seen play, and I'm 61 years old, and I saw Perrant, Ken Dryden, Patrick Waugh. You know, they say, oh, Marc-Andre, when the Knights are in Vegas, Marc-Andre Fleury. Not close to the guy we're going to talk to in 30 seconds. Not even close. The Grant Fuhr, and the 71-year-old lady took that dog across the border. God bless you.
Absolutely. And a ginger shandy March Madness style cocktail. It's equal parts beer and ginger beer with a squeeze of lime. Sure. That is a really good one. All right. The Daly Fish Drink of the Week is sponsored by Schmucks Tavern in Vegas. Great seafood and drinks in 2 locations. Head to Schmucks Tavern on North Durango on the northwest side of town where Fish is overnight. Say Daly Fish Podcast, you get a free drink. Do it the next day, a free appetizer. That's Schmucks Tavern. Check them out on Facebook, Schmucks, Shucks. And Fish, I got to tell you, I'm dying to get out there because of the oysters there. I mean, I need that. How good are they out there now?
They're that good. You're welcome anytime. We have a jambalaya on this menu that I swear to God, if anyone from New Orleans that has a restaurant down there, a Creole restaurant, would come up and eat the jambalaya at Schmucks Tavern, they would say, wow, did you import it from Bourbon Street?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how, I mean, people just can't believe out in the desert that you have that great seafood there. So that is just fabulous. All right, great. All right, super. All right, let's bring on our special guest. He has 5 Stanley Cup rings. He is also in the Hall of Fame. He might be the greatest hockey goalie of all time. Grant Fuhr, welcome to Daly Fish.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. We also have John Hardison on the Hardline, and we also have someone mimicking you with a hockey mask. And actually, he should wear that mask all the time.
Look at that mask. This is it. This is the guy right here. You know, remember those things you have where you can make a wish and go up against your athletes? I'm on the other side of the goal, and I'm looking across at Grant Fuhr, and I'm like, please, don't piss this guy off, you know?
So, Grant, let me ask you this. You signed with the Edmonton Oilers at 19 years old. Did you have any idea this team was going to be a dynasty?
No, I had no idea. I mean, I was just happy to play in the National Hockey League and lucky enough that I got to play at home. So a fun group of guys to be with.
That's great. Fish, go ahead.
Wow, you're the most acrobatic goalie I've ever seen. And of course, I'm in my teens and my 20s when you're with the Edmonton Oilers, those great teams. And I'm a Kings fan, and I want to take you back to nostalgia. I'm gonna throw some names at you that you went up against and guys that I think really shaped the destiny of hockey. When I was watching hockey, watch the look on Grant's face. Rogie Vachon was the goalie of the Los Angeles Kings, and did you learn from him because he's a Hall of Fame goalie also. He's won a Vezina Trophy, and we had that great line of Marcel Dion, Dave Taylor, and Charlie Simmer. I mean, went up against some great teams back then. What did you take from guys like him, Ken Dryden, Bernie Perrant, the great goalies from the past? Who were your influences?
You know what? You try and learn from as many guys as possible. I mean, I was lucky enough. I got to know Glenn Hall when I was young. So you try and pick a little from him, Tony Esposito. I mean, all the guys you got to watch, all the guys you play against, you pick a little from everybody and try and throw it into one big mess.
Wow. Our man Hardline is here too. He wanted to be in on the interview. He's probably going to ask you a betting question. Nah, Hardline, what are you going to ask?
Mr. Fuhr, such an honor to meet you. So I know during your 87-88 season is when you won the top goaltender trophy. That season you played 75 out of 80 games. How were you able to keep your body up during this time? I mean, you're in the middle of your prime, in between Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup. How do you stay healthy for that long?
You know what? Most of it's luck. But at the same time, I enjoyed playing. So the more I played, the better I felt. And you get some bumps and bruises, but you find a way to play through them. And fortunately, nothing major happened that year.
Wow. We were talking earlier about, quarterbacks are maybe better quarterbacks because they have to practice against their own defense. Did you find, because you had Gretzky and some other great scorers, that actually helped you as a goalie?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I got to play against 5 of the best players in the world. So you see Gretz, Mess, Kevin Lowe, Yari Curry, Paul Coffey, and get to play against them every day. You either get better or you get embarrassed.
It's fun right now being a hockey fan here in Las Vegas because we just got the Golden Knights 5 years ago. Hardison lives with me here in Las Vegas, and John's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we've seen this community really take to the Golden Knights. I try and educate younger fans, Grant, about your era, and I'm trying to tell them how great the 70s and 80s were, especially the 80s. I was pissed off, though, because when Gretzky came to the Kings, I think it was 1988, I used to go to King games at the Forum, and there was maybe daily 7,000, 8,000 really strong fans. Then Gretzky comes in, and you see Sharon Stone, and you see Sylvester Stallone, and you see all the actors and athletes showing up just to watch this guy play. I mean, tell our fans of Daly Fish how great Gretzky really was, because I think he's the greatest player of all time.
No, I agree with you. Definitely the greatest player of all time. I mean, I feel fortunate. I was lucky enough to see it every day and had the best seat in the house. So, yeah, I mean, we were sad to see him leave Edmonton, but at the same time, it grew the game of hockey. I mean, I think that's why you see teams in Vegas, you see teams in Florida, is because Wayne got traded to LA. It helped expose the game to a different market.
So Mr. Fuhr, I know in '95 you played for the St. Louis Blues. You're an Edmonton guy. What was that culture shift like? What was the difference coming from Canada and now going to a market like St. Louis, playing in that type of environment?
You know, I love St. Louis. I thought of all the cities I played in, that was probably my second favorite city. I mean, obviously, I'm a little partial to Edmonton just because I grew up there. But I like St. Louis. When I first got there, I thought it was going to be a baseball town, football town, because the Rams were there at that time. But it's actually a huge hockey town. So I love my time there. The people there are friendly and they're very knowledgeable.
You know, I got to thank you for being such a mentor to Dominic Hasek. You know, I'm a guy originally from Detroit, so he definitely came in handy for us. So thanks.
You know what? I got to see Dom back in the Canada Cup, and everybody knew he was good. It's just a matter of him getting a chance to play. So it was fun to play with him as a partner in Buffalo.
Wow. You know, there's so much going on, today talking about prejudice. I mean, the fact that you're the first Black hockey player in the Hall of Fame. Did you go through an awful lot?
You know what? I was pretty fortunate. I mean, I think I got pretty lucky growing up in Canada, playing in Canada, and also playing on one of the best teams. I mean, if you look at the guys we had between Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky, Yari Curry, guys like that, I kind of sifted into the background. So it just allowed me to go out and play where I didn't really have to worry about it much.
Did it ever bother you that it took so long for Mr. O'Ree to get inducted into the Hall of Fame for everything that he did? You know, it took until about 2018 for him to get in.
You know what? It would have been nice to have seen Willie get in a little bit earlier, but unfortunately, that's sometimes the way the game works. So the fact that Willie is in and got his due, I think that's fantastic.
I want to go back again. I'm going to go back, go forward. I mean, I'm a student of the game. Hockey's my second favorite sport to football, but I'm a junkie for hockey also. And I like the fact that in 1977, a great film called Slapshot came out with Paul Newman. Did you see that film, Grant?
I've probably seen it about 15 times.
Okay. Well, remember the Hanson brothers? They were these geeks. You can't say retarded because retarded is in the cancel culture. So they were mentally challenged, but they could play hockey. And I want to tell a lot of people that the thing, I want your opinion on this. What you call a goon in hockey is often a great player. Dave the Hammer Schultz is usually a great player. In 1974, would beat the crap out of everybody, but he could skate. Nowadays, the goons are considered Tom Wilson with Washington, Vander Kane with San Jose, and to a certain extent, Ryan Reeves with the Rangers, but they could all skate. Isn't it a bad stereotype to say that if you're a goon, you can't play hockey?
You know what? It is a bad stereotype. And I still have kind of a great feeling for those type of guys because they make your best players your best players. They allow them to have room on the ice to be your best players. Without those guys, people take liberties with your best players. I mean, if you look at Vegas now, when Ryan Reeves was there, their best players could be their best players. Sidney Crosby was allowed to be his best when Reeves was in Pittsburgh. You look at Tom Wilson, it allows Ovechkin and some of those guys to be their best players. So you have to have those guys. It creates the respect on the ice that, I mean, yes, the league would like to govern everything from an office, but at the same time, players police the players, and that's what makes the game safest.
I got to think it was pretty good for you having somebody that could do that for you as a goalie as well, right?
Well, we had a lot of guys. I mean, that's why Gretz was able to play. You got guys like Semenk, Marty McSorley, Kevin McClellan, Donnie Jackson. I mean, we had a lot of tough guys, so we could play the game any which way people wanted to play.
Let me ask you. We talked about the movie. I want to ask you about the documentary on you called "Making Coco," and I thought it was a fabulous piece of work. And there were some interesting things that I had actually forgot that you got suspended for drug use, and then you came back, and you came back really strong. Talk about that, because that had to be very difficult to talk about on that documentary.
You know what? After going through it and living through it, it really wasn't that hard to talk about. I mean, it was in the papers and such, and we really hadn't said much about it. So it was kind of my way of being able to say my piece on it and admit, yeah, I made a mistake and paid a price for it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You can still come back and be good at what you do. And a lot of what I tell kids is you can make mistakes. It's what you do after you make the mistakes. So the fact that it's out there, it's on film, kids can see that, gives a little bit of credence to that you can actually be successful after making a mistake.
Great advice. Yeah, I mean, that's why you're a hero. And I got to ask you this question. Every league, every sports league, because of instant gratification, is trying to tweak its league to get more viewers. It's hard to get younger viewers, Grant, because of this. Kids are always on their phones, okay? Are you happy with what the National Hockey League has done to tweak its sport, to go 3-on-3s in overtime and not have ties? And what more can they do to make the game more accessible to younger people?
Well, I think probably the biggest thing is the cost of the game. The game's expensive to play. So you've got to lower the cost somehow or offset the cost. But the biggest part of it's exposure. And you've got to expose the game to markets that aren't traditional hockey markets, which you see in Florida, you see in Vegas, you see in different Seattle now. So you've got to get out and expose the game. You've got to get kids involved in the game at a young age, whether it be street hockey, ball hockey, whatever, just to get them into the game. And if you can get them into a building to see a live game, they're going to be hooked on the game.
I know this typically this tends to get overlooked, but hockey is growing, especially in the demographics of Black players. I mean, we see now we got Wayne Simmons, Evander Kane, the Subban brothers, the Jones brothers. How do we see this sport growing, especially for Black players? I know we had, there was a lot of players for you that you looked like Mike Morrison, Mr. O'Ree. How do we continue that growth happening? Because it is growing right now, and a lot of people don't talk about it.
You know what? And that's kind of the part that needs to grow is people have to talk about it. And you have to keep exposing the game to different cultures. And I think the league's going in a good direction in that way, but there's still a lot more that we can do. So I know we're bringing a team in here to Palm Springs next year. So a lot of the Latino community and such is going to get a chance to see the game. And a lot of it's getting kids to the arena to see the guys play. I mean, once you see a live game, then the game sells itself. And yes, it's fun to see on TV and such, but there's nothing better than seeing it live.
Absolutely. It's one of the best sports. The Stanley Cup playoffs live. Hardison, you're from Detroit. You know that's like with the Red Wings and Stevie Yzerman. Hockey live is great. Hey, Grant, talk about the Grant Fuhr Foundation.
You know what? My wife and I started a foundation here a couple of years ago, and we've been running around to charity events here for the last 5 or 6 years where we'll do 30 or 35 events and travel 180 days a year. So we thought we wanted to do something local here. And so we started a foundation. And last year we had our first annual golf tournament where we gave the proceeds to the Betty Ford Foundation. So we're going to do that here again in May, where we'll give the foundation some more money and hopefully grow the game and the awareness of the Betty Ford Foundation.
So whereabouts is this tournament going to be played?
It's in Palm Desert. We're going to play it at the Desert Willow Golf Resort. And we've got a good cast of athletes coming, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you ever need any D-list celebrities?
We can always use guys. Actually, I'm going to be in your neighborhood here in about 3 weeks. We're coming down for the Monday after the Masters.
Are you going to be in Myrtle Beach?
I am.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's fabulous. And for folks that don't know what Monday after the Masters is, it's actually a weekend event here where you watch the Masters in Myrtle Beach. And then on Monday, they have a celebrity event that is a ton of fun. A lot of the guys who play in the Masters actually come down and they bring in celebrities like Grant to play in it. And fact, we'll probably do something there with that Fish as well, because it's a great event. Have you done that before, Grant?
I have. I've played in probably 8 or 10 of them. So it's a lot of fun. Darius Rucker hosts it. So
Yes.
it's a good time.
It really is. It's super. So how is your golf game, by the way?
We still play to scratch, so it's okay.
You know, what's amazing is, all my years of being able to play in celebrity golf events. And one of the amazing things to me that was kind of like, you should have known this, the best celebrity athletes that played golf were the hockey players. And I was like, why? And I'm thinking like, well, the ball's not moving like a puck moves. They're standing on spikes, not skates. How about for you? Was it just easier because of playing hockey to be a golfer?
I don't know if it's ever easy, but yeah, the hand-eye makes it a lot easier. But the fun part about golf is it doesn't matter what sport you played. It equals everybody out. And I think that's the great thing about golf is every day's different and every day's hard.
It really is. Hey, I don't know if you heard our comments there. We were talking about the Players Championship this past week. I don't know if you watched it or not, but I was saying that, we don't have some of the old time players. I got a chance to play with Chi-Chi a couple of times, and I got to see him. He could hit the low ball. He could hit the high ball. He could hit all that. I just don't see the players doing that. Do you have any response on that when we talked about that?
Well, you know what? The modern golfer just hits the ball as hard as he can and hits it high. And a lot of the old shot makers are now playing the Champions Tour, where guys that move the ball up and down. So, but it was fun to see when the weather's miserable, the good players like Justin Thomas's round, I thought was phenomenal.
I agree. Yep.
He moved the ball up and down, and it reminded me a little bit of Sevy. That's the way Sevy played the game. You move the ball up and down. If you hit it in a bad spot, you figured a way out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you that type of a golfer?
I'm a little more old school. I like links golf where you've got different options. If you can hit it high, you can hit it low. So I like to watch some of the older guys. I still like to watch the guys in the Champions Tour because not all the swings look the same. They all do it a little bit differently, and they hit different shots.
Cool.
Got to ask you this, Grant Fuhr. Maybe back in your day, I've asked athletes we've had on this show, who was the biggest trash talker that came around your goal, talked about your girlfriend, talked about your genitals? Who was the biggest trash talker you dealt with?
I don't know. I played with a few pretty good ones. Marty McSorley was like that. Kevin McClellan was like that. So Kenny Linsman was a lot like that. I mean,
we had to have opposing guys. I mean, one of the great scenes in Slapshot, when Paul Newman walks around Hammerhand's goal and says, "Your wife's a dyke," and the guy turns around and they score a goal.
There's a lot of guys I used to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of guys I had fun with talking to. I mean, Theo Fleury was fun. Dougie Gilmore was a lot of fun.
Good. Oh, yeah. I heard Ronnie Duguay of the New York Rangers, great-looking kid, married Carol Alt, who wouldn't stop talking on the ice, until someone knocked his teeth out and he couldn't model anymore. So, yeah. Oh, the good old days. Yes. Old-time hockey, Grant. Eddie Shore, remember that?
Well, I still like old-time hockey. The playoffs turn into old-time hockey. The new rules last up until playoffs start. Then it's old-time hockey.
Sure is.
Good stuff.
The one question I got to ask before is not a lot of people could say that they've either that they've had a shutout game where they've just been able to stop everything that's come their way or just put everyone in check. What is it like? Does it feel like an outer body experience? Does it feel like you're just really locked in? What does that feel like?
You know what? Some days you just are dialed in where the puck looks like a beach ball and some days it looks like a pea. So fortunately, you try and keep it about baseball sized. Otherwise, it can be a really long day. But no, there's some days you wake up in the morning and you just happen to feel it.
Wow. Did you used to do like yoga and stuff like that? Because there is nobody as acrobatic as you on the ice. Did you do certain things that other goalies did not?
No, I spent a lot of time stretching. I think that was the biggest thing is I started off fairly flexible, but I worked on my stretching every day. I think that was the biggest thing.
Wow. Well, it was always fun to watch you play. That's for sure. I love going back, seeing some of the old films and videos of it, man. You were so much fun, just the flopping and jumping all over I mean, you were like Simone Biles, before it was Simone Biles. I mean, that's how cool it was watching you. So that's really great. All right. We've been talking to Hall of Fame hockey goalie Grant Fuhr. He has won 5 Stanley Cups. There's also a great documentary out on him called Making Cocoa that you can watch on Prime, and go check out the Grant Fuhr Foundation to Stop Addiction. Grant, I'm definitely going to catch up with you at the Monday after the Masters. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk. I'm dying to play in it. So I'm trying to talk to some folks to see if they got some openings for a D-list celebrity for there. And if you need a D-list celebrity, or the three of us can come out there to Vegas and join you in that one.
Hey, there you go. Vegas is always a good spot to go play golf.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I lived out there for 20 years with Fish and Hardison, and it's like, I miss it out there. Great place to play golf. That's for sure. All right, cool. So you can just tell us real briefly, where is that golf tournament going to be played?
We'll be playing it in Palm Desert, California at the Desert Willow Golf Resort. So May 13, 14, 15.
Okay. It'd be kind of chilly out there.
Yeah, it should be a nice cool 90 degrees or so.
All right, good. So just to give you one last look at Fish, because I don't know if that scares you or not, seeing him in that mask.
Yeah, no, it's a nice look.
Thank you. Thank you, Grant, for letting me grow up with you. Meaning, thank you for getting me into the sport of hockey, that I got a chance to watch you during what I call the glory years. There'll never be another era like it. And, you could say I'm a fan, not of you, but of you, but the LA Kings, baby.
Hey, it was a good era to play.
Definitely was. Grant, thank you so much. Great having you on. We'll get you on again. We'll talk more about hockey and golf as well. Appreciate it.
It's a deal. It's my pleasure. Take care, guys.
You got it. Thank you. All right, coming up, Fish and I are going to wrap things up and give you a sneak peek at next week. Hopefully Hardline will stay with us. First, we want you to check out Hope for the Warriors. They have a big celebrity golf event, speaking of which, that's coming up August 27th and 29th. It'll be in Wallace, North Carolina, near Wilmington, kind of near where I am. And Fish, we're planning on being there, that's for sure. Hope for the Warriors works with our military warriors who were wounded to restore their sense of self, family, and hope. They get them healthy and well again so that they're part of their families and they're part of the community. It's a great charity and a great event, and you will see us there. Isn't that right, Fish?
Yeah, I got to bring Heidi back in for one thing. Heidi,
Okay.
you there? I'm getting texts, and everyone's calling. Look at this fucking helmet. I can't. Oh my God, my hair. I get texts from people we went to high school with. They're calling bullshit on the fact that you never went home. I mean, I'm not sitting there talking about the kind of person you are. There's no way a girl like you at 19 years old was a Mormon walking out of the Playboy Club. No way.
Definitely not a Mormon. Definitely walked out of the Playboy Mansion alone. Oh, usually with my whichever friend I brought, but there were times when the friend stayed there and did different things. So yeah, I definitely didn't hook up. Nothing happened.
Okay.
Swear to Valley God.
Yeah. Members of Grant, Santa Monica, all these people. That's the deal. What a great interview that was. You know what? Wow. I mean, I can say they get better all the time. Man.
Yeah. And Grant, what an amazingly sweet smile that man has.
Yeah, and just a real humble guy, and he was
absolutely.
Superstar.
He probably was in the Playboy Club hanging out there when the Kings were all there. He probably asked you out, and you said no.
No one asked me out.
That would have been his biggest save as you. So.
Well, I'm going to watch his documentary. It's very exciting. I'm really.
It's terrific.
I'm so into that now.
Very good.
Yeah, it's definitely worth watching, and it's a series actually. It's actually I think
great.
It's about 4 or 5 episodes, so you can do it. Okay, but hey, before we go, remember Daly Fish is live from Vegas and Myrtle Beach. We're on Facebook at daily.fish.5, plus the Myrtle Beach Golf Channel and Myrtle Beach Grandstand Life. Also on Facebook. Catch us on YouTube as well. We're also on DB&A Television. We're on Roku TV with them, and also Amazon Fire. And Wingding TV pretty soon is going to be carrying Daly Fish. You can get the Wingding app. Remember to write to us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. And hey, Fish, we got to kind of tease. There's a lot of folks looking to get us on different networks. So we're going to be in a lot of different places. We need to we can't say it yet, but we should tease folks and just let them know to keep on the lookout for us.
We're going to close the deal this week. We're going to have 4 more platforms to watch these pretty faces. Not me, but John, Heidi, and Hardison. And it's going to be again, we're trying to expand the universe of Daly Fish. We are the Today Show. that is on our platform of sports entertainment, Hollywood, and good-looking gamblers. And I'm excited. I'm excited in the direction and the future of this show.
No doubt about that. That's for sure. And Hardline, I know over the next 4 or 5 days, you're going to be, your head's going to be in the TV and in your computer as well. So looking forward to that. What are the things you're looking forward to over the next couple of days?
Definitely keeping my my phone next to me like I'm Adam. Definitely looking at lines, looking to see what I can put in, depending on how the line goes up. And always looking at see the medical reports. I tell anybody that's one of the most important things. Seeing who's actually going to play, who has to sit out. With everything going on in the world right now, anything's possible at the last minute.
It's really interesting because there was COVID kind of instructions there that if a team got COVID, there was another team who was the last two in could have gotten in. So far we haven't heard anything of that. And I think tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow's.
Yeah. We do that. Heidi, really quick, are you going to be watching basketball, or are you going to be going and doing your binge watching?
I'm going to be binge watching. Binging all the way.
These are young, beautiful 20, 21, 19-year-old men in shorts, jumping up and down, things flying out, things flying everywhere. You are a vivacious young woman. Watch basketball. Learn what we learn.
All right, I'll watch a little basketball.
Watch UCLA. UCLA and USC are in the tournament. Keep an eye on that.
Okay.
You live
Good to
there.
watch there, that's for sure. Hey, Fish,
I do know it's called March Madness. I know that. I know the term.
Well, what you should do is you should go to Vegas. So, Fish, has it gotten nuts there yet? Have people started coming in? Because I got to tell you, March Madness for me was always Las Vegas. It was the place to be. Are you beginning to see a lot of people really streaming in pretty quickly?
One of my great memories is John and his beloved father-in-law, Dave, would go to Caesar's Palace and rent a little booth. And I would go down there and meet them. I mean, Hardline, you had the whole sports with 16 games on. And his father-in-law, Dave, screaming. Everyone's betting. It's almost like it's like every fraternity at every college is in one area, and they're all having fun drinking and watching basketball. Yes, we are expecting 95. What is it, hardest? About 96% capacity they're expecting this weekend in Las Vegas?
Absolutely on the first one. Thursday, maybe not so much, but Friday through Sunday, absolutely.
Huge.
Yep.
And Vegas is blowing up too, guys. Heidi, we have the NFL draft here this year, and they're expecting 350,000 people to come to Las Vegas. How they're going to do that? Hold on, are they going to corner off the script at all? How are they going to do that?
They're going to have to at some point make it, I think, kind of like a New Year's Eve type of situation. Where you can't go past Las Vegas Boulevard going west or east. But the biggest thing is this is the best place that you could possibly host it. Name a place with more hotels, more casinos, more things to do than fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
Absolutely. Right. There is nothing like it. And folks, if you can't make it this year, plan for next year. Sometimes you got to plan a long time out, but plan on being there for March Madness. I think the first weekend's the best because you get to see all 64 teams. You got to be in the casino by 9 a.m. in the morning, and you probably don't leave until 7 or 8 at night. But it is worth it. It's what I did for 20 years with my father-in-law, Dave. God bless his soul. And it's really worth it. It's great memories for me. So hopefully people can plan that as well.
John, real quick before you take us out, Heidi is going to give us the next week's big on our show. Heidi, next week is a precursor. It's a Tuesday before the Academy Awards. So we're going to get your predictions. We're bringing Brian Torson on, who has Dragon Movie Guy. He's the number one music guy, a movie critique guy on the internet right now. He's huge. Hardline knows, so we had to give him a hug because he's a Seattle fan. They lost Russell Wilson, so he's a Debbie Downer right now. But can't wait for next week's show. John, take us out.
We could do a little wager. A little wager.
We go. Yeah, well, we'll definitely have some numbers with Hardison, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All righty. Hey, folks, remember Daly Fish live from Vegas as well as Myrtle Beach. Check us out, 6 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. Actually, we should say next Monday we're going to be on at 6 p.m. So I've had to change some things up. So we're going to next Monday we're going to be on at 6 p.m. That's right. We have to switch it. I completely forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me. Super. So you can catch us then, even though it's most Tuesdays, it'll be next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So there we have it. Hey, folks, great stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Great show, you guys.
Love all you.
Love you guys.
Back at you.
Mwah.